This is your weekend market review for Friday, September 13th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your weekend market review. Friday, September 13th, 2024. Amazing week in my mind. Great week if you follow the channel and executed on your trades. As we talked about, there would probably be upward pressure after the pullback the previous week, and that pressure would be built on the odds that rate cuts are coming, which again, everyone thinks is bullish from the headline perspective, but we know that means the economy is slowing quickly, and data proves it, especially if you went and looked back at some of the data this week. Yikes, not good at all, and expecting even worse next week. So what do we know moving forward? Well, keep it simple, stupid, right? You have the Fed meeting on Wednesday, which again, to me, could trigger some interesting action. That's all. I mean, I think it should be a sell the news event, especially if we rally into it, but it also is an option expiration. It's a VIX OPEX on Wednesday. So again, I don't see the markets really falling apart, but I do see some probably choppiness starting Monday and Tuesday. If you're not familiar, watch those, do yourself a favor and enjoy the video on what to expect the Monday and Tuesday before options expiration. It's in the education series. And yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be choppy, and then be careful. Once you get past the 18th, it's, again, if we're at the highs, it's more than likely going to be one of those things where I would be looking to short. That's just my personal opinion. We'll get into the why and all the details, but again, if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, a link in the description below. If you want to follow on Twitter, posting our trades, ideas, even some real estate stuff. Also here again, here's the videos, back to basics, education series. What is it? Where is it? It's how to trade the first 2 days. It's in here. Check it out. I guarantee you'll enjoy it. It's one of those things. Again, tons of stuff on this. 52 videos about trading. If you're not familiar with all this stuff, I'm telling you, well worth it. Boom. There you go. Also, check out my website, tradingagent.com. Lots of resources, interactive brokers, markets, promotions, recommended reading. All you need is 3 freaking books. Again, the goal is to turn profits into properties and passive income. If you'd like to chat, hit me up. Again, link in the description below. Keep it all simple. I tell people all this. If you need help with trading, you're looking to buy, sell, downsize, invest in real estate, whatever you need, I got you covered. Again, if you use my services, meaning basically you give me a call, figure it out, I help you find an agent. You get 2 agents for the price of 1, and I'm telling you, it is well worth it. I've guided many clients. Go check all my 5-star review. I mean, do I have to drop them all in here? No. Whatever. Believe me or not. Go check out my 5-star reviews. It's all good. All right, we know this is closer to 50-50. Why? Because the economy is slowing. Got to get over like 60-something% for it to be a lock. Again, the Feds are not in the business of disappointing the market. Someone will know. And the Fed fund futures, again, like the casino, knows. The nose knows. Bitcoin, as we've talked about, again, I don't know why it's always refreshing so slowly. And then it'll take me out of oil. And then I'll have to hit the backspace. And then I'll go right back. Dink. Seems to be holding up. Again, gold's been leading. Bitcoiners, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It should be, looks like a little head and shoulders bottom. We'll see. Just keep an eye on it. Again, Fed's pivoting, typically a liquidity event. We'll see how it all plays out. Again, buy the rumor, sell the news, or we're about to go rocket ship, especially commodities, materials, all that stuff. But just keep an eye on it. I talked about oil here bouncing. Great trade. Some of the folks in the room, I mean, I love you guys. I appreciate all the post insights. Again, we don't always have to agree. We can have different opinions. Again, the market is not meant, it's meant to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. Are we always going to be right? Fudge, no. But you guys have had some good trades posted, and I appreciate it all week. And again, we talked about like oil, natural gas. Again, I personally don't want to play in the commodity space until next week. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, don't, what do you mean? Wait, I'm like, I want to see what happens. I want to see this pull back. I want to see what happens. But speaking of the dollar, right? Chopping around. Man, this one's tough. It's in a choppy range. I honestly thought we'd get back up into this, to the breakout point. That might happen if we get a quarter rate cut. That's my guess. TLT, again, is it going to break out until the Fed speak? Probably not. Again, remember, the Fed fund futures has priced in a lot of rate cuts already. And you think about it, from going from 86 to 100 in the 10-year, meaning I think, what do we go from like 5 something to 4 or something. I can't remember the exact numbers, but point being, it doesn't matter. Is that it's already priced in. So what the Feds do in a rate cut doesn't matter. One cut doesn't mean shiznit because again, it's priced in a lot more than that. The VIX, as we've talked about, hold up towards the 23s and then coming back down to the 15 to, I don't know, 14 range. Keep an eye on it. Not there yet. Expecting it next week at some point. VIX, Vixen, all this stuff chopping around. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, chop, chop. VIX. Again, I'd be watching. Again, this usually bottoms first. We'll see what happens when it gets back into the 90s. Good old SPY guy. I mean, this is what's interesting. I said this earlier in the week. Do we need to head and shoulders over this? Like this will be the head and it'll be complex. Are we about to break out? Now, again, as a bear longer term, both near term, we talked about this is probably going to counterbalance up. Just keep an eye on it. Again, define your risk. I mean, if you want to short at the highs, it makes sense. Define your risk, but be careful. And if you're going long, I'm telling you, take profits, roll your stops up, execute your trades, kill it. QQQs we talked about, due to bounce. Wouldn't be surprised if we tested the trend line, maybe 480 plus. Again, looking for traps. IWM been lagging all week, catches a bid on Friday. Okay, we'll see what happens here. Again, we'll get back up into the 220s. Keep an eye on it. Because again, all these things, in my opinion, again, it's a trader's market. I've been saying this over and over. People get really mad when I say this. We're like, well, I want to go long. I want to go short. I want to go short forever. I want to go long for... We'll see. Again, you have to do what the market's doing. I mean, again, you and I mean, I have bear stance because I'm watching the real estate market literally implode, especially here in Colorado. Okay, other parts of the country, we'll see. I mean, again, with the election, all these things going on, first rate cut, we'll see what happens. DIA back at the highs, worth a watch. Gold, scratching my head on this one because, again, usually gold gets pounded. Metals, miners all get pounded before the rate cuts, but everyone sees it coming. So look out. I mean, this thing's breaking out. Again, I love physical. I've not bought any of the paper stuff. If you have, congratulations. Broke above the wedge today with volume on silver. Again, GDX, we talked about miners needed to catch that bid. Gap and go. GDXJ, gap and go. Again, I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Hey, this won't be the first or the last time that I've missed a trade. I like this stuff long term. Be looking for pullbacks, especially once the Feds pivot and we're into a pivoting cycle. Again, if it goes higher right off the Fed, no, I missed it. Not going to chase it. Not going to chase. I don't chase. If you want to chase, go right ahead. AG, talked about is due to bounce. Man, that's a strong bounce real quick. Newmont, back up into the resistance zone. Do we break above it? Again, lots of great trades in the miners in the long term. Again, as I've said personally, I do not own any. I like the stuff long term. I'm just hesitant to buy it because, again, the baby out the bathwater. We haven't even seen a really VIX blow up. I know we saw the VIX 65, but that seemed very crazy for Japan because, I mean, the market wasn't down that much. When you see VIX 65, I'd expect the market to be down 10% or something crazy. We didn't get that. Again, it's very confusing. Again, it's things that sometimes the market teaches you. As I've said this over and over, you will be humbled over and over and over again. Does it make sense? But again, watching the miners, keep an eye on it. Tech, we talked about, was due for the biggest bounce, and you're welcome. Again, now watch the levels. Watch what happened to you with Taiwan Semi. Taiwan gets up into the 176 plus. Micron, if you bought the dip yesterday, high five to you. Talked about it this morning. It's a pro gap and go. I have no doubts that this can get back into like the 95 area. If you sold it and gave up, I get it. That was tricky. I mean, you got a downgrade yesterday, but then it was like doji. Again, holding on to this one going into next week. We'll be looking to take profits on all longs. AMD coming up in the moving averages, worth watching. NVIDIA, I mean, the CEO keeps selling. I'm not surprised if we got a little higher, especially with the Qs ripping. I mean, if you see a 125 handle, again, let me put that back in my notes because that one's an obvious 124 plus NVIDIA short. Ding, 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 ding. Just kind of putting some of these in my notes. SMCI said, hey, it was looking strong, looking bullish, coming off the lows. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you got up to 489, maybe 500. Worth a watch. Intel, intellectual property. Talked about it, retesting the range lows. Okay, it's holding. Again, this is a dog. If it gets delisted, that becomes a problem. SMH, as we talked about, holding the 200-day. I mean, check the SMH. I mean, write this down. Like SMH to, I don't know, 44 plus. I mean, that's where I'd watch the next resistance. Keep an eye on Adobe. Man, I wanted to short this one, but I'm not going to short it before earnings. Got up to the range highs, failed. Not much you can do. Apple seemed to be tied to the 22250 pin. You got it. I wouldn't be surprised next week if we got up to 228 at some point. Amazon, interesting action. It's been holding up pretty damn well. Credit where credit is due. It's going to probably get tired up around 190, my guess. Meta, again, we talked about the 530s. Keep an eye on it. And again, because these lag a little bit, maybe. Certain tech name, again, it's the trash floats last. I say this over and over and over and over again. And guess what? The trash floats last. Some of these names, CRM, Micron. Look at even Google. I mean, nice trade. Jay Soltis pointed this one out. I'm like, man, that gap yesterday looked pretty bullish. I mean, this looks like kind of like Micron. It's just at least one more day in it up. Microsoft getting over the 425 area. Keep an eye on it. You got some upside resistance. Sorry, like with Google, near term. I mean, I don't know why you couldn't get back up to the 164 area. Makes sense to me. Microsoft, as we talked about, NDAQ. Again, I like this short, but it's just give it time. I have some September 70 puts or 60. I don't know. They're going to probably expire worthless. They're pretty cheap. They were cheap. Again, I'm going to probably reload and take profits from some of the other trades and put them into it. Again, I like the NDAQ short. Said this with MicroStrategy today. Break the trend line. Don't surprise if we get to the 150 day. Damn, we got there in like freaking hours, y'all. I'm telling you, great trading. If you're following the channel, post your wins. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a like, subscribe. Netflix, as we talked about, 700 areas. Seems to be a chop zone. Keep an eye on it. Roblox said get over this 46, 47 area. Can you trap up or break out? I mean, yeah, looks like it. And W, again, I like the stock long term. Nancy Pelosi's buying. I'm buying. Just seems to be stuck near term. Tesla, talked about this 240 gap. Probably at some point is going to fill. It's just everybody's expecting big moves. Man, they crushed the volatility in the stock the last couple of days, just kind of keeping it smaller ranges. Because look at these candles. Some of these days are just people are getting rich trading options intraday. They're like, no, let's slow this shit down and keep the let's squeeze the volatility out of it. Insight, again, I like this company in the 50s. If you see the zoom out, there once was a time where the stock was over 100. Pfizer, again, this one seems to be okay. McDonald's, interesting action up here in the 290s. Worth a watch. Is it a breakout or a fake out? That's my question. I mean, can people really afford dollar menu? That's not a dollar menu anymore. There's nothing on it. You get one nugget for $1. You get a burger patty for $1 with a piece of bread. DKNG, we said the 200-day. I mean, man, that looks good right there for a short. But again, be careful shorting if the market's going to hold up, right? Airbnb, talked about this one, dead cat bouncing, chopping around. Costco, 924 again. Got it. I guess 920 plus. That's interesting to me, that candle. Keep an eye on it. Again, sometimes these things can peak before. The Starbucks, I really doubt it's going to break out here, but it's chopping, holding up again. Whatever they're doing, to me, yawner. FedEx, I know some people are looking at the bearish case on it. I personally just, again, the way the transports and everything's acting, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably wait for this, I don't know, 292. I mean, I'm putting it in there. 290 plus. That's my watch zone. Caterpillar, we talked about holding the range lows. Ten cuidado. Okay, now you could come back up. Held the 200-day. DE Deer. Meow, cat, deer. Holding up pretty well. If you bought that at the 340s, man, that looks like it feels like it's going to want to go after some more higher, like 400 at least. I mean, again, some of these names got beaten, chopping around, holding up. Speaking of, Nucor said this one looked like it was due to bounce. Man, nice trade. Watch a 20-day, probably the 50-day, somewhere in this range if it keeps rocking. X, chopping around, wide and loose. Look at that wick. Yikes. Again, I think they get bought out. It's just a matter of when, not if and who. VALE, 50-day. Arrow, again, we like Junior Copper. I like all these commodity names. Trying to be patient on. I'm waiting for the market to actually get cooked. Well, nice rallying from a non-cooked day. I mean, solid 20% week. CCJ, had a nice move up. Some folks bought in the 30s, looking good. I mean, again, it's hard to trust, y'all. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. My experience has me very gun shy, not because I'm scared, but just like, no, I'm going to be careful. I've seen this happen before where you get all excited and expect things to go, and then boom, they absolutely flip it around. And again, I like commodity names. Man, we talked about this. They look pretty good. It's just, man, are they bottoming? Do I want to? I mean, again, when the VIX spikes, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what I'm waiting for. AA Aeron, again, I like aluminum. Nothing wrong with it. Man, that's not bouncing away from us. XLF, we talked about it. The short on it, bouncing, dead cat bouncing, let it chopping around. I look at the XLF. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're basically there. I'd say 44.70 plus. Not that far off. Again, banks, no one wants to buy them. If JP Morgan's not, I was saying this for weeks. Like, if they're not buying back their own stock, why would you? Chopping on the 100-day. Probably could be a 50-day touch there. Morgan Stanley, chopping around. Bank of America said Buffett sells into strength. Not at the lows, y'all. Look at that. I bet he was selling up here and quietly was doing it. Goldman Sachs. I mean, look at this freaking down move the other day. Okay, little dead cat bounce. I'd be watching Goldman to the, I don't know, 490 area. That makes sense. I mean, JP to the 100-day. I'm just taking notes as we do this. Is why I do this every day. Carry again with the IWM bouncing. I don't know where the high is going to be, but I wouldn't surprise if it fails in the 56 plus range. That would be my guess. Ooh, right? XBI again. This is a risk on name. Is this a trap up here? Keep an eye on it. XHB again, housing. I mean, I haven't shorted this, but wow, this is just crazy. I mean, again, you got to let it do what it's going to do. Solar, as we talked about, was, I don't know, due for a bounce. And then when Kamala looked like she won the debate with her stellar airings and great answers, due to bounce. Just, I don't know, it's going to be choppy. I mean, whenever you see the range highs in this stuff, it looks like a short and then it comes back down. First Solar, we talked about this, man, this 240 plus. Look at today's action. There you go. You're welcome. HYG again. This is one that's a little confusing to me. Like, you got to be high to be buying corporate debt, in my opinion. And let's get into oil and finish it off. Oil, again, I like the upside if they start pivoting. Again, little dead cat bounce. I'm watching it. UNG again. I hate the UNG, but I like natural gas. I'd be looking to short KLD, as we said, up in the 80 to 90 plus. XOP, man, really wanted to pull the trigger today. Did not. Watching this 126 area. I think you can buy calls if they start really cutting and oil starts cranking. That makes sense to me. CVE, again, around 16, 15 level makes sense to me. ExxonMobil. Man, I'd love to see a test of 108s. Gasoline names seem to be putting in some bottoms here, but just worth an eye on. I mean, will they absolutely rip? You've got references. Just worth a watch. Again, you can trade these things, I'm telling you. Occidental, again, Oxy looks good to me, meaning like that 50 area. Something's going on. Remember, Buffett's the smart guy. If he's letting it come down, he's probably pulling the trigger, and he'll support the stock when he's ready. EQT, again, like this in the 28-30 range. And last but not least, Flex LNG, again, I think real natural gas exporters in time. I think big time. So, got any questions? Reach out. Need help with real estate? Reach out. You want to just chat? Use the Calendly link. Let me know. Want to use some of the promotion codes? Drop a like. Please leave a comment below. I appreciate it. Share with your friends. And if you have any questions, I'm telling you, I'm here to help. Always looking to, grow, help subscribers, help people out. Again, like, people are like, why would you help? And it's like, man, you give to get. Like, let me prove my worth, my value to you. I guarantee when you start playing with the markets, you start playing with real estate, you will be calling me. I have no doubt. And again, work together. Again, that is the goal. Help each other grow. All right. Holler at your boy. Have a excellent weekend. And if you're around Denver, want to see me at one of my open houses, come on by. 8199 Welby. Is it street, court? I don't have it right on the top of my head. Welby. Whatever. Ding me. You know how to find me. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.